Good evening and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the think show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so-called African American didn't find himself to America in the trunk of a ship. I'm your host, the indigenous one. This past weekend in Atlanta, a brother that lives in Atlanta who really looks out for his community, does things for his community, which every single last one of us should be doing, did something that I'd never seen before. Took a group of kids from where he's from and took them to the Etowah Mounds in Georgia. If you've never been to the Etowah Mounds, look it up online, find out where it is, and go. But what you want to do is you want to take your kids, the young ones, to it, and they will get a definite connection back to their ancestral homeland. And that's what this past weekend was all about. This brother and his wife laid it out, and you should have seen the looks in the kids' faces. Awesome. So without any further ado, I'm gonna hand it over to this brother, and I'm gonna close it out when the guests finish, because everybody's gonna tell you what they've learned, what they saw at this Etowah Mound trips given by Chief Cali out of Atlanta. How you doing, brother?
How's it going, brother? Man, listen, this weekend was amazing. This past weekend was amazing. Um, and I want to definitely thank you for coming through and being a guest speaker at this event. I have a great amount of respect for you, brother. So, like I was telling the kids, you were one of the first people that I ran across that helped open my eyes to some things, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely wanted to reach out and ask you to be involved in that trip. But when I tell you this trip turned out to be more than amazing. Um, the thing is, we had worked about 2 months on this trip. I had been working with my people from my nonprofit organization, my fiance, Angela Anderson, and my co-founder Terry Merritt from the Truth Speaks Foundation. That's my nonprofit organization, and we do things in the community. We help people in the community. We check on our elders. We feed the homeless. We clothe the less fortunate. All of that. But I also work with my brothers from Tribe Biz, which is another branch of my Indian community. You know what I'm saying? Where this is my circle, my team, my circle of people in the American Indian community that I deal with, that I work with, that I trust to make things happen, to have my back on certain things. And we all came together with the idea of bringing our youth together, getting our youth together and starting to find ways to teach them, to teach them the things that's being hidden from them. Find ways to bring them together, to show them some things that they may not have ever seen. So that's where we came up with taking them to the Etowah Indian Mounds. Now the thing with that is, it doesn't cost much to go to the Etowah Indian Mounds, but I had to find a way, because we're dealing with the youth. I had to find a way to entertain them as well as educate them. So, I rented out. We rented out 2 limousine buses to take the youth down there. I figured that would keep their attention at least on the ride down there and back. And I gotta say, I underestimated those youth. I gotta say, I underestimated their interest in the information, because those youth were very much into the information, very much. And I thank the brother Bones and Liren Cypress for stepping in to break a lot of things down to our people. Now, one thing I do want to point out that I found to be super amazing, right? we had people that came from everywhere, as far as Detroit, Cleveland, Chicago, Virginia, Texas, Florida, Alabama. We had people that came from everywhere. Now, this was amazing to me right here. We had from unborn children to toddlers to children to teens to young adults, all the way to elders that attended this trip. Not only did we have 2 bus loads full of youth, we also had people follow the bus down, and we also had people that met us there at the Mounds. So by the time we got ready to go into the museum, we went in there with a group of people. It was a lot of us. So it was an amazing event, man. I thank everyone who attended. I thank everyone, and I am proud of all of you who found it important enough to bring your children to this event. It didn't cost you a dime to come. It didn't cost not a cent to come. So I'm glad those of you who did show up found it important enough to get those kids together, to get those grandkids together, and make it to this event. It was amazing for me, man. So I'll let Bone step in.
And greetings, everyone. Greetings. Yeah, first of all, I want to thank Cali and his family for even putting the whole concept together and doing everything that they can to make sure that it was an enjoyable trip from everybody from beginning to end. I mean, it was beautiful, and and the one thing that I learned from the children was that if we do our part and build it for them and take time out to actually reach them, they want to know. And not only do they want to know, they're ready to move forward with it, do something with it, build with it, and they're the next generation. So I'm just glad to even be a part of that, to even see the energy, how they were that day, running around on top of the mounds and just feeling free. You get what I'm saying? I mean, it was beautiful, you know,
Yes.
and it shows what we can do when we put differences aside to come together for a common cause, for one common goal for our people, what we can do in a society where we see so much negativity in our image.
So what do you? So let me ask you this, because this is what I was thinking the whole day of the trip. This is something when we say educate our children or educate our youth. These are some of the things that go into it. And I thought that trip that day was apparent, was way apparent. This is a way we should be educating our kids because, like you were saying earlier, Callie, when we were on top of that mound, and it amazed me that the kids was realizing the vibration that was coming back up to them. What did you think about that?
I was amazed. And you really had to be there on the trip to understand what we're talking about. You kind of really had to be there. Those children, those children got on top of that mound. And I'm gonna tell you what all went on. Those young children, when I watched them, it was like they were free and they were just running and having a great time. And then you had the other ones over there with Lisa, and they were drumming and vibrating the ground. You know what I'm saying? Then you had the older ones who were talking to Bones, asking information. They were asking things about, what I'm saying, getting information about. It was amazing. And that's why I say I definitely underestimated our youth on the information. I was more worried about, are they going to feel like I'm dragging them to church or something? It was none of that. It was none of that feeling. We seen where some of the kids were calling back home to their parents, FaceTiming them. You know what I'm saying? And telling them how much fun they were. It was amazing, man. Like it was amazing, man. And yeah, they were on top of that mound, and it was almost like They were just running free. They were free. They were looking over the edges. They were looking out into the to what used to be. You get what I'm saying? It was amazing, man. It was. I loved it.
I,
I
I, I,
loved it.
I think one of the things that you showed and what you put forth in it, and what I saw in the kids myself, is their connection to this section of the earth. I think they were real geeked by that.
Yeah,
What did you think of that?
yeah. It was. Yeah, you're definitely right. It's like they knew they were at home, and I can't. Ah, man, like they. It's like they definitely connected. They definitely connected. I was watching how intense they were listening to Lisa when Lisa was talking and explaining things. I was looking at how intense they were listening to Bones. We didn't have to listen. This is what I'm trying to tell y'all. We didn't have to tell kids to get off phones. We didn't have to tell kids to, pay attention. I don't think we ever said that like the whole time we were there. I watched kids go back, when they would get hot enough, they would go back to the museum park, catch them a little air, and they would come right back to where we were at the whole time. There was no complaining. You didn't hear, man. I don't even know if I heard any crying there from the young kids. I don't think we heard any of that.
You know what was remarkable to me, Cali? The young sister with the unborn baby and the young baby. When we was about to go up to the steps and they was telling her, no, she was like, no, I'm going up there. Y'all just get the baby. And she went up there anyway just to feel the vibration.
That's
It,
right.
it, it, just, it just showed the energy how on that one day how we all felt like one people, if that can describe it better. Everything else that we dealt with in our daily life in that moment in time, it did not exist.
It didn't matter. It didn't matter, man. It was amazing. I'm talking about from the time the buses rolled into the parking lot. Um, those kids was ready to get on them buses. Those kids were ready to get on those buses, and to the point I just said, "Go ahead, get on, get on." And it amazed me that when I got on that bus, I said, "Whoa, this bus is full from front to back. It's full." So now we had to start loading the second bus. It was amazing, man. We had my brother Wild Indian from Tribe Biz, Turtle Man from Tribe Biz show up, man. They had my back on everything. They followed the bus down. They made sure we was all safe. We had Officer Merritt there. From the Clayton County Police Department. He rode one of the buses. He came and he kept his word. He stayed on the trip with us all the way to the end, all the way back. So I definitely thank that brother for keeping his word. And he was even amazed. That trip was so amazing, not only to the youth, but it was even amazing to the adults. Even the bus drivers were in awe. Like they learned a lot on the trip. It was dope.
Yeah.
I, the like I said earlier, the thing that got me was it looked like we belonged there, because when we got there, it was a bunch of everybody else. Then we
Everybody
showed
else.
and then we showed up, and
Yep.
you know how that looked. Everybody was paying attention to us, and
Yep.
the kids were just as polite. It wasn't none of that ratchet stuff you hear about.
None of it.
Everybody was cool and walking. What do you call that when you're walking to the mounds? What's that area called when you're walking through the mounds? When you're walking to the mounds?
I don't know what you call it,
Yeah, but when you saw
but yeah,
those,
there's a
when you
pathway
yeah,
down to the mounds.
there's a
Yeah.
pathway down to the mounds, and when you saw all of us walking down there, that was an amazing experience. What do you guys
Wait till
think about
y'all.
that?
Wait till y'all see the video. I was editing the footage earlier today, and I said, "Gosh, it was a lot of us. It was a lot of us. Yes, we came with a presence. We came with a strong
It
presence
gave
that day.
it also gave the youth with the numbers with the amount of people that came, it gave them the opportunity to see potentially how it looked at one time.
That's right.
Because even when we were standing on top of the mountain and you can see the children down there running through, you can imagine what it used to look like with the people
Yeah.
running around, having fun, doing festivals, because it had that feel to it.
That's one of the things I was when me and Wild Indian was standing on top of the mound and we were talking. As we were talking, I said, "Look out there, bro." I said, "Just imagine what this used to be. This used to be a village. This used to be a community. People walking everywhere. People, there was buildings up here. All of that, water. People traveling in water and all of that. Yeah." And I thought it was amazing, man. Like I was telling them, man, when you get there, once you get there, you feel a feeling. I was as we were coming in on the bus, I was telling them, you guys, you can see the mounds from the streets as we're pulling in, and they turned and they looked out the windows and they saw the mounds. They was like, wow. Let me tell you, it was such an event for some of our people that they are talking about going back on their own. I had people talking about, they said, man, we're coming back. I need this address. We're coming back. We had a sister who was there. She brought her singing bowl and she stood there and she vibrated the bowl, oh man, it was amazing. Everybody stood and just watched and paid attention. The water was just flowing through the stream. It was amazing, man. It was amazing.
Hey, Chief, let me share something with the audience, and this is important. Those mounds that they have in Georgia, they have them in Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri,
Everywhere.
Illinois, and these are the things that we have to take these youth, because you seeing what's happening with us now, and we are in a very, very precarious situation, and having that mindset like stuff like this don't matter. That's the wrong move to make. Would you say that, Cali?
Yeah. And we had people, and I hate to even bring this up, but we had people, you know, talking down on this trip. It's just a field trip. What are they getting from going to the mounds? Man, let me tell you one thing about this field trip. That field trip touched a lot of people. A lot of people were educated on this field trip. You get what I'm saying? So you can call it what you want. But a lot of people got touched on that field trip. They left there. They left there with a bunch of information. These mounds are everywhere, all over America. All over America. Right in your city. I'm sure you have mounds. Look it up. Take your
Yep.
children. Take your family. Go see those mounds. There's more mounds here. I took some other people. Not only this was like my fourth time going to Etowah. I took some other people to the Killamoki mounds here. There's 7 mounds there. You get what I'm saying? These mounds are everywhere. Look in your city, look in your town, look in your state, and find out where these mounds are. We are in Ohio. I'm from Ohio. We got right outside of Cincinnati. We got the Serpent Mounds. The mound that's like a snake
I
out
heard
there.
that's tight.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You got mounds in Illinois. You got mounds in North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. The brother History was telling me they got mounds up there in New York. Yeah, like go see these mounds. But we gonna
If
do this again. We gonna definitely do this again. We gonna keep doing these mounds. We gonna keep moving around, checking out these mounds in different places. You got Mississippi mounds. Yeah, you got mounds everywhere. I recently went down to Texas. I went down and saw the mounds down there in Port Arthur, Texas. Yeah, I saw the mounds where they our ancestors turned those mounds into bunkers because they had to fight out of those mounds because their land was being taken. So they turned those mounds into bunkers. I went to New Orleans. I seen the mounds in New Orleans where the Chapatula tribe was showing me how they turned those mounds into bunkers because they had to fight behind those mounds. Yeah, man, it's a lot of history, man. Like, anywhere you can go, man, try to find out if there's any mounds there. If you're traveling, if you're moving around, see if there's any mounds anywhere near you. Go see them if you can.
and remember, mounds are used for different things. Like he was saying, they was used for bunkers, But another thing, some of those were, not all mounds are, but some mounds are burial mounds.
Burials, ceremonial mounds.
Yes.
Yeah, different. They were mounds for different things. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, learn the history on those mounds, man. They're very interesting. They keep wanting to push us to Africa and want us to learn all about them pyramids over there. I want to know about these mounds right here, where I'm from. How about that?
If you
Yeah, I
ever
love
get it,
it.
if you ever get a chance to listen, you've heard of a poet from a while back called Gil Scott Heron, right?
Yeah.
He has a song, and you guys go check this song out. "Don't Give Up" by Gil Scott Heron. And the hook to the song, he says, "Don't you hear your people calling?" And
Mm,
so we were at the mounds, and when the kids were beating on the mounds, now I didn't know if we were on top of burial mounds or whatever, but the reason they buried in the mounds on top of each other, because the bones act like a giant antenna when they're gone, when they're deceased. So when you're on top of him, you're pulling in all that energy, and then you're slapping the ground, and that energy is bouncing back up to you. These are the things we got to know. These
definitely,
are the things that are important to us.
definitely.
Bones, you had something to say?
And yeah, that's what I was finna say, and that's why this is important because what's the sense of only reading about our history when a lot of these things are still here and we can go out and document it for ourselves? I mean, because you know what the next most beautiful thing about the trip was? The children didn't learn history from a whitewashed approach.
Right.
It was
That's right.
their own people giving them the history of the land.
That's
And
right.
we need more of
That's
that. We need more of that because again, if we're not going out documenting our history, telling our stories, how can we get mad that they're not in books, that no one's talking about it? If we're not even going out
that's right.
seeing it and talking about it. I mean, we have to keep this going because it's very important. The future should matter. And if they don't know where they
Yeah.
come from,
Now he's definitely right. He's definitely right. And again, when I booked this with them, I told them, no, we want to decline your tour. We definitely want to decline your tour. I'm bringing people with me who's going to we'll self tour. If even if you looked at when we went in to watch the movie, the guard was telling us, yeah, they don't want y'all to take certain pictures of certain artifacts in here, da da da. Yeah, why y'all don't want us to take pictures of certain artifacts in here? Because y'all know that ain't us. Y'all know them ain't us in them cage in them glass cases. Y'all know that's not us in that movie, that film y'all in there showing. Them people don't look nothing like us. This is why I declined them to give us their tour. That's exactly why I declined. And I said, no, we'll do our own tour. Just book us in and we'll do our own tour. You get what I'm saying? Because I knew they were gonna try to whitewash everything. You're talking about Indians of the Southeast, but these Indians look like cavemen and what?
Right.
Yeah, nah, we not gonna play them games. And we gonna get this understood with our children right now on this trip. We'll tell them about this. So that was definitely one reason I declined. I declined that we get their tour. We'll do our own tour.
So what Curtis Asgaya Ani Yawia is saying, Osio, Chihu Tamau, Hesi, Halito, Wangapo. These are the languages of these people who lived around the mounds. See, we have to know this. We just can't take what other people tell us and go our whole life. Have you ever met a 70 or 80-year-old person that know nothing about no mounds
Yeah,
and
yeah,
don't really care? What do you
yeah,
think they left their children and grandchildren?
yeah. And let me tell you this. Let me say this. Um, I had a sister who had emailed me, and she said, "Listen, brother, I want to come on that trip." She said, I'm driving down from Detroit. I want to bring my 13-year-old son." When I got that email, that was amazing to me, right? You know what I'm saying? So I definitely made sure she was reserved to be on that bus or whatever. But I don't even think they rode the bus. I think they might have followed the bus or met us there. Oh, they met us there. But anyway, I thought that was amazing. They came down from Detroit. She found it important enough to get her 13-year-old son and bring him on that trip. And that young man enjoyed himself. Not only did she only bring him, she went and got two other people, you know what I'm saying, two other youth, and brought them with her. You know what I'm saying? And I took pictures with them and everything before we left, man. They were so excited about being on that trip. I had a sister who grandkids came from, I think she said Texas. She went and got her grandkids from Texas or something like that and drove up from Florida. And I mean, she said that was one of the best trips she ever went on. You know what I'm saying? It was amazing. But there was also an 89-year-old elder. I think she was the oldest elder we had on the trip. I still remember her coming through the to watch the movie, and she had her cane and she was being helped in. I said, "Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing." So we had from the babies, unborn babies, to the oldest elder there.
Well, we have Lisa from the Accomax. She was one of the speakers there.
And she
Lisa,
was.
could you share with us your experience?
Man, that was fantastic. I mean, hats off to you. Have hats off to your wife, Angela. I mean, it was done perfectly. It was done so well, so classy, just top notch. Just it was great. Those children, I mean, they're never gonna forget it. They're never gonna
Yeah,
forget it. I mean, it was inspiring. It was fun. It was exciting. It was just perfect. It was just beautiful weather. It was just perfect. And like from the young, like he said, to the unborn to the old, and to see somebody, could barely move with, a walker, and couldn't needed assistance, and She's making it to the mounds. Like, come
that's
on
right.
now.
That was
Shame
beautiful.
on y'all that didn't make it in y'all you're in the Georgia area. Shame on y'all, you missed out. And the thing that this does for children, and the thing about it is, like, you can say, okay, yeah, I know my kids know they in the you can say that. But there's something that happens when you hear from somebody else. It turns on a different space in your head, you know. Hearing it from people close to you, that's one thing, but hearing it from someone else, it just turns on a whole different light in your head. It makes it so much more powerful and so much more real. And even for us, like, just going there and hearing Cali talk and hearing Carrie, and man, Bones was tearing it up with all his information
Killing it.
as usual. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, just being in the presence of that positive energy, like, and seriously, it was positive energy. And you can't underestimate how important that is for you to surround yourself with the right people saying the right things. Like, that is that's that is immeasurable. That is the most important thing you can do for yourself and your life. It'll change you, and it will inspire you, because I felt inspired after that. Like, it got me
yeah,
all like re-energized.
yeah. And I
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. I appreciate that you did it. I was so glad I could make it, man. But
Yeah.
man, I would have been mad if I had missed it. I'm telling you now, I'm glad I made it. I would have been mad at myself.
Yeah, I thank you. I thank you so much for stepping in and helping to educate those youth, our people that showed up, and speaking to our people. I didn't even know you were going to be there, so that was extra for me. You know what I'm saying, to see you there, and I had to ask you to speak to the people, man, and you did, and you spoke with so much influence as you always do. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely thank you for being there. That was amazing, man. And I want to say, man, thank you to our youth. our youth that came, because those kids were on their best behavior. Those children were on. We didn't have any issues out of any of the children. We didn't have many. I watched those children exchange numbers, exchange social medias. So you got to imagine these children came on this trip and made friends with new people from different parts of America that they never knew. Now they are on social media talking to each other now. You know what I'm saying? Now they know the same information. They know they're not crazy. They know, you see what I'm saying? And I thought that was amazing, man, to watch them interact. They were already, when they got on the first bus, they were already interacting with each other. And I thought that was great, man. And see, that's how children do, though. That's how children do. Like while we sit and we looking at each other and we staring each other up and down and trying to see what each other got on, them children didn't care about none of that. Hey, where you from? Where you from? Oh, we drove down from this. Oh yeah. Well, what's your you on TikTok? You on this? Yeah, that's what was going on with them. And I thought that was amazing. One more thing, like, to tell you that we really underestimate these children in the knowledge. I had a mother who was telling me one of the children on the youth, the reason she asked her to come on the trip was because like 2 days before the trip, they were at home talking, and this young lady she came in the house and was like, "Ma, tell them we're not black. Tell them we're not black." And she was right. So to be able to come on this trip and hear somebody reinforce that, you know what I'm saying? This is one of our youth that was at home going through this, trying to tell someone else this information. Yeah, she needed to be on that trip. And then one thing I told all of them was, you guys are not on this trip for no reason. It's no coincidence. You personally are on this trip today. You will never forget this day, ever. You will never forget this day. You are here on this trip for a reason. You guys are special. You guys are here for a reason in the future. You'll never forget being here on this trip today. And that's just how it is.
The story you just told about the girl saying that we're not black, that's very important, because I was explaining to a young man that, on the trip, and that let you know how far the brainwashing goes. You can look at a person and tell they're not black, yet they still affiliate themselves with that. And everybody knows black means dead. It means nothing. Something black can't move itself. It has to be moved by somebody else.
Yeah.
And when I told this young man that, he looked at me like, damn, dude, I never even thought of it like that. That's how it is. So these kind of trips with people like Cali, Bones, and Lisa, teaching these kids different things about themselves, it blew me away.
Yeah, man. Like it was amazing. Like the weather held up for us. That was one of the things I was worried about. Was, oh man, are we gonna get rained on? You know what I'm saying? The weather held up for us. It didn't rain until after we all got back. Everybody was in their cars and we were all safe at home. Everything went beautiful, man. The energy was beautiful, and I appreciate everyone who came, and I'm proud of y'all, man. I'm very much proud of y'all, and I do want y'all to know I got some other stuff coming, man, because it can't stop with the Mounds. But matter of fact, me and the brother Bones was on the phone earlier today. We're putting something else together. It's coming too. That's going to follow this up. As much as I can do to bring our people together, to bring our youth together, to bring our families together, I'm going to try to do on my end. I'm only one person. I don't have all the answers, but as much as I can do, as much as I can feel like I can put together without, and if I can make it easy on the people to be able to come to these events, I'm going to make it easy on the people to be able to show up to these events. If it's free, I mean, and it's in your city or nearby, what's your excuse not to come? Like, what's your excuse not to come? So I just
Well,
want
brother,
y'all to know I got some.
you got a set of hands right here anytime you need them.
No, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. I just really, you know, I mean, people do what you do, how you do it. You get what I'm saying? But when it comes to tribe biz and when I got my hands in it, if I can make it possible for my people to be able to show up without having to stress about how much does it cost, how much is the tickets. If I can make it happen to where they don't have to pay nothing, just come get this information, just show up. I'm going to try to make those type of events happen because it's possible. And this is what I want our people to see. It is possible to bring the people together without always taking from the people, without always trying to make a dollar off the people when you get them together. It is possible. So one thing I've been saying is, who's bringing our youth together? What are y'all doing? Like, how are we? Nobody's going to bring the youth together and start teaching them this stuff. Okay, well, I'm going to put my foot forward and try to start making these events happen to where our youth are involved now. I promise y'all, I kept telling y'all, like, I have some other stuff behind the scenes coming. I just don't want to speak on it because even with this trip alone, you would think people would support this, right? We had people try to sabotage this trip. We had people try to scare people away from coming on this trip. You get what I'm saying? You would think people would support this, right? Yeah, well, this is
I
why I
mean,
don't
what
want to speak on any more of the projects that I'm trying to put together because you have people who will really try to sabotage this, and eh,
see,
I
I
mean,
call I call those cats buffalo soldiers. See, they're always every time you try to do something, brother, it's always gonna be some shines that's gonna try to mess it up.
of
It ain't
course,
gonna it ain't gonna work. The
yeah.
people's
My
gonna be
thing,
behind.
my thing is this, brother. Like, if we see this in our community, right? If this is the stuff we see in our community, and we're talking about trying to clean our community up, but we continue to support these type of people and we continue to stand next to these type of people who are toxic in our community, how do we ever expect to clean this community up if we continue to allow them to, when they have events, we go support these events, and we got to start somewhere with cleaning up this community, man. You feel what I'm saying? And I mean, for someone to hate on a youth trip, I mean, and make threats about harming people at a youth trip. We had an 89-year-old elder there, an unborn child there, and we had people in our community who wanted to sabotage that. How do you stand next to that in this community? Is all I'm saying. If
But let's not
I
dwell
can't
on
deal with
that
that.
because that's just negative people.
No,
And
I agree.
you know what, and they fall on their own sword. That is not to be tolerated. That kind of negative energy is not what we need at this time. We ain't tolerating that kind of
No,
stuff. We ain't supporting it. If you're a woman, you supporting a woman who acts like she cares about women, but gonna say anything about doing anything at an event with some babies there, you stupid. You just
babies,
damn stupid. Okay?
babies.
Because that's not the way we act. We don't do that. So we're not gonna give no more voice to any kind of negativity or negative behavior. That's not it. If somebody wants to come with a full apology to all parties personally and publicly, that's a whole nother thing. We got the ability to forgive. But other than that,
Yeah.
we moving on. Let's just move on.
No, but I do. You're right. You're right. You're definitely right about that. But I do want y'all to understand. It still turned out beautiful. The date was beautiful. The speakers were beautiful. The youth were beautiful. Everything turned out beautiful, y'all. And I thank y'all. I let me tell y'all how much it touched me. Um, because as we were standing there and Bones was speaking, before we went into the museum, and turned around, I turned around to say something to the audience, and I looked at all of our people just standing there. I can't lie. I cried. I cried. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like I'm trying. I'm trying, and my ancestors see I'm trying. I'm working. I'm trying. Even in being crucified and trying to do positive and bring our history back, bring our people together. When I turned around and I looked at all our youth, and I mean, they were paying attention. They wasn't playing. They wasn't horse playing. They were listening to Bones. That
Well,
was,
brother,
that was,
well, brother,
that was
I
amazing.
want to say this, brother. You didn't try to do nothing. You did it. That's a big difference. You did it.
Yeah, we did it.
Absolutely.
We did
Yes.
it.
Well, no,
We did it.
well done. It started in your head. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It started in your head, and you put it together, and you made it happen. And
yeah. You
you
guys are
deserve
you.
to take a bow. You deserve that, because you know what? We good. We quick to criticize each other, but we also got to be quick to doggone give each other praise, and the
Yeah,
praise goes where it's deserved. And thank you to the ancestors, but also thank you, daggone Cali, for
yeah.
doing what you
Definitely.
did
Thank you.
and not
Thank you to the
giving up
ancestors.
and working on your dream. You know what I mean, and getting it done. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. It was really
Yeah, and
a beautiful event.
you guys were amazing. And if y'all didn't see, I am working on the footage. I'm editing the footage, and I think y'all are gonna like the way I'm editing this, because the way I'm editing this is you're gonna see everything that went on the whole week, all the way up to the events. You get what I'm saying? So you're gonna see the things I went through, the people I was in contact with, picking Kerry Davis up from the airport, getting him to his room. We presented Kerry with a plaque, man, because we really wanted to show that brother our appreciation, man. I wish I could have actually got all y'all plaques. You get what I'm saying? Because y'all were amazing. Y'all were amazing. And I thank y'all, man. I definitely thank y'all.
Well, brother, we thank you guys. We thank you for having the event. Bones, any last words you want to say before we get out of here?
Just mainly is that this weekend showed that with the American Indian, the urban American Indian, what we can do when we decide to come together. That media and social media and the powers that be do not define who we are. And if we decide, and when we decide, we can show the best of the Indian. And I say, let's keep it going because the children, they want it. And if we don't give it
That's right.
to them, what they gonna get, y'all? So
That's right.
everybody here, keep up the work. I'm just proud to
Yes.
be a part of what we got going on. I appreciate everything that everybody do to make this keep happening. And for 7 generations, y'all, let's get this. That's it.
Bones, if people want to contact you and what you do, how do they get in contact with you? Because
You can contact me through Bones H. McCoy at gmail.com. That's BONESHMCCOY at gmail.com.
and I would suggest people get with this brother and learn from this brother, because this brother got so much information that is helpful to other people that'll blow your mind. So
I'm trying to
contact
tell
this
you.
brother. This brother
Yes.
knows. You can't believe this much information flows out of one person.
One person. Yeah.
So contact this brother, get with this brother, let him know what you have going on, what you want to see happen. Because I know in most cities, you see everything happening for these foreigners or these illegal aliens coming in, but you don't see nothing happening for our children. Contact and stay in contact with brothers like this, because they got ideas that can make your children's life and your life a lot easier. Lisa, what you want to close us out with, love? And let us know about the Accomack Summit that's coming up.
Oh yes. Okay. Well, we're having the third annual um Acamax produces the third annual Indigenous Council Summit in Virginia, Eastville, Virginia, at the at the Indian Town Park, and it is on October 10th and 11th. The ninth, we're having a huge family reunion. So if you're of the Accomack lineage, bloodline, you need to be at the reunion on the ninth. The 10th and 11th is the summit. We're going to have all the usual suspects. We will have Carrie Davis there. We will have Rich, Rick Moon will be there. And this year, I'm told that we'll have Bones and Chief Cali will be at the summit, along with Tasha She. So it should be a very nice event. It should be very positive, and it always is. No drama. It's on the former land of the reservation that belonged to the Accomack Indians, and we getting it back. Trust and believe. So basically, we have speakers, we have music, we have food vendors. We're gonna have a bad barbecue man this year. He's gonna be putting it down. We have all kinds of displays. I have a lot of different books and artifacts and poster boards and information to give away and stuff that you can, vendors that you can buy from. And so it should be a really great affair. Plus, on the second day, we actually go to my big mama's plantation where her people came from. We walk around there. We're gonna go to some two additional sites. We're on the water. We're gonna make it to the waterfront at least once on the second day, if not the first, but probably the second day. And then also we go see actual grave sites. So it's a really nice event. Um, it's My event is not, it's like, I don't care if people buy tickets, but I really wish that you would at least get a free ticket. I have free tickets available for 21 and under. I have free tickets available for seniors. The $40 is for the 2 days. It's really a nominal thing. I spent a lot of money. I spent a ton of money on this stuff. It's not a fundraiser. I make no money. I come out broke. I start broke. It's not a thing that makes money at all. But it's really for the people and for you to have information and be able to see things and get together and be inspired and talk to people one-on-one. We have panel discussions. You really will get some information. And hopefully this year we'll have information about an indigenous confederacy that we're trying to put together. Hopefully this year, when you come to the summit, we'll be able to give you paperwork so you can actually sign up to belong to the indigenous confederacy and share it with your other people, and everybody can have paperwork to get themselves out of this system. That's what we need to have done at this summit. That's the goal.
Thank you, Lisa. And let me tell you something about the slaves up there in Virginia. They live better than most Negroes live today. So don't stop calling yourself slaves because you wasn't. Those were those Yugoslavians coming over here. That's what you're no slave. You're not black. All these names that they give you, that's for something else. That's to throw you off track. Chief Cali, what we
Yeah,
doing next,
man.
homie?
I do
I know
have
you don't want to
another.
say.
I do have another event that I'm trying to put together now. Like I said, me and Bones was actually talking about it earlier, like before y'all called. What we're trying to put together. So y'all just look out for that. But I am going to be putting out the video pretty soon. I'm close to done the editing, so y'all will be able to see what went on this past weekend, man. And I think y'all will like the way we put it together, man. But yeah, I got some other things that I'm in talks with people about, man. Dealing with our youth and dealing with bringing our people together, man. So just look out for that, man.
Well, I want to give my humble appreciation to you, Lisa and Bones, because what I experienced this weekend was off the hook.
Yeah,
And
thank you, thank you.
these are the brothers and sisters that you want your kids to look up to.
It's
You want,
great.
Thank you,
Exactly.
yeah.
thank
It's so inspiring to have your young people to be able to look up to somebody besides you that's doing something that is positive in the community. That is amazing. You know what I mean?
you. Yeah, yeah.
And
One thing I'm trying to do is lead by example, right? So when you hear me talking online, And a lot of y'all don't like to hear me talking, but when you hear me talking online, if I'm asking something, if I'm saying something, I'm not saying anything that I wouldn't get out here and do myself, or I wouldn't get behind myself. So what I'm trying to do is lead by example. I'm trying to show you we got to get out from behind those computers. We got to get out from behind those computers and get with our people. We got to walk with the people, talk with the people. You know what I'm saying? Grow with the people. This is what we need to do. We need to grow with our people.
And it's just that simple. Well, I want to thank all my guests tonight. I hope everybody picked up something from what these brothers and sisters were saying. These are the brothers that's on your side, looking out for your children, looking out for the rest of us. Support them. Thank you for joining African Americans Ain't Africans tonight. And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Try big. Yeah.